Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. And today I want to talk to you guys about Kawaki's words during that flash forward sequence where he tells Boruto, I'm going to send you where I sent the 7th. In the many years since this has come out, I have never weighed in on Kawaki's words here. Even after Kawaki gave that statement about wanting to kill Boruto at the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, mostly because for the first few years I was here on YouTube, the translation that people like Organic Dinosaur, Ray from Twitter, and a few of the translators that I used to follow who are on Naruto base and Naruto forums back when Naruto base used to exist, when Naruto was still a weekly manga, they all pretty much said the same thing to varying different degrees due to how the entire thing was worded and how Japanese is such a context-heavy language. That phrase could be interpreted in a few different ways, which at the time most translators viewed it like the way that Zabuza told Kakashi that he'd send him where Haku was going to be sending Naruto and Sasuke. The wording was similar and it implied death at the time. But now that we have more context about everything that's happening in the universe, I think I'm now ready to give my full weighing in on what Kawaki meant here and how it might have signaled a ideology shift in Kawaki when it comes to how he deals with Boruto moving forward. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where we take a look at why Kawaki might have changed his mind about wanting to kill Boruto in the future of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. So the TLDR, or since this is a video, the TLDY, as in too long didn't watch, the TLDY of it all is basically, I believe there's a strong likelihood that Kawaki ends up changing his mind about killing Boruto after whatever final boss battle they have that they have to overcome, and instead chooses to seal him away instead of killing him, because taking mercy on a tortured soul like Boruto, who cannot control Momoshiki, mirrors the god Daikokuten, who the dimension that Kawaki seals people in is named after. Now here's the in-depth answer. I've been thinking on this one for a while now. Normally I'm not afraid to do discussion videos, like I'll say something like, does Yodo have a second power, and hold a discussion on that, not necessarily a theory video, just a discussion on it based on what we have. But with this one, I'm really excited for this discussion because I think there's some meat to this one. So Kawaki sealing Boruto away and Daikokuten instead of killing him, it could be an act of mercy rooted in both practical and emotional reasons. Great character development for Kawaki at the end, as well as inspired by the religion and mythology behind Daikokuten itself. So let's break down what I mean by this. So why would Kawaki seal Boruto instead of killing him? $1 million question. So preserving Boruto's life as an act of mercy is what you have to look at. Despite his insistence on killing Boruto to eliminate the Otsutsuki threat, Kawaki still views Boruto as his brother. His internal conflict is clear. He sealed Naruto, the person he loves the most, rather than risking losing him forever. This suggests that Kawaki has a pattern of choosing imprisonment over outright execution when it involves the people he loves the most. If Boruto's control over Momoshiki deteriorates even further than it is now, Kawaki may see sealing Boruto in his Daikokuten as the only viable solution, one that neutralizes the threat without him having to commit the act of killing someone that he views as a brother. It's a temporary solution until a cure is found. You have to remember, Boruto and Kawaki originally spoke about wanting to find a way to remove each other's karma seals and free each other of their fate of being Otsutsuki vessels. Right now, Kawaki's the only one who has been able to escape that fate. Momoshiki's soul's bound to Boruto, and yet, now that we know about Shinjutsu, there is a possibility that there might be a Shinjutsu to remove Momoshiki's soul from Boruto's body itself. It might even lie with omnipotence, something that Ada cannot control. You also have to look at it from this perspective. Kawaki has shown signs of regret over what it is he's done, including sealing Naruto. He may believe that one day there will be a way to completely rid Boruto of Momoshiki without killing him. Again, potentially something like omnipotence. If Momoshiki can still hijack, which he can, Kawaki might see sealing Boruto as a way to buy time until there's a method found to separate them, because their souls are bound together. It would also allow him to avoid the emotional consequences of killing Boruto. Killing Boruto would outright likely push Kawaki into a further emotional turmoil. Sealing him away may be a way to cope with this guilt while convincing himself that he did what was necessary to protect Naruto and the world itself. Now this gets even more interesting when you look at how Daikokuten could be used to explain everything going on with Kawaki's mental state of mind and why Boruto could end up being frozen in time. So Daikokuten is based on Daikokuten, the Buddhist and Shinto deity that is linked to time, fortune, and the ability to store objects in a separate place is what we see with Kawaki's ability. So the abilities showcased with Kawaki, Daikokuten, allows him to place objects in a personal time space where time does not flow. This means whatever is placed inside does not age, does not change, does not decay, does not hunger, etc. Using time as an inescapable prison for Boruto is something to look at. Unlike Ishiki, who could retrieve and summon objects freely, Kawaki using Daikokuten on Boruto could result in Boruto being trapped in a state of complete stillness where even his Otsutsuki genetics would not allow him to move, because in theory that is a power linked to Kawaki's dojutsu. Boruto should be stalemated right there. Boruto's Otsutsuki powers, it does let him move through dimensions. He can traverse Otsutsuki dimensions. However, this is Kawaki's personal time space associated with Kawaki's dojutsu, not the Karma Seal. It is uncertain whether or not he can escape without any type of external interference. Very similar to how when you go back to Naruto's manga and Naruto met with Hagoromo, they were in a personal space that Hagoromo had. Nobody could teleport to something like that, and even Hagoromo says to Naruto, and he says the same thing to Sasuke, whether or not you get to go back to the outside world, it depends on external factors. So when you look at it from that perspective, since Daikokuten does negate time, Boruto could effectively be frozen mid-motion, unable to act, stuck in that timeless void. Now this is where it gets even more interesting. So Daikokuten is a symbol of mercy and condemnation. In the stories, Daikokuten is sometimes linked to Mahakala, a wrathful Buddhist deity who both destroys and protects. This mirrors Kawaki's contradiction. He is willing to kill Boruto, and yet he could potentially also want to protect him. That is building on what we know about the inspiration, and it fits into Kawaki's character. How many times have you heard people say, like, it makes no sense that Kawaki does this, he's so hot and cold and etc. That is why. Now that he has the Kokugan eye, the eye pattern after the Dharma wheel, now that he has the Daikokuten ability, everything about his character makes more sense now. Also, sealing Boruto in Daikokuten could be Kawaki embodying Mahakala's duality, choosing to destroy Boruto as a threat, but simultaneously protecting him from actual death itself until he can find a way to cure him. Again, likely something to do with omnipotence. If not omnipotence, which can be used by Ada should she ever learn to control it to make desires into reality, there could be some other Otsutsuki Shinjutsu to be used. The idea of freezing Boruto in time might also reflect the Buddhist concepts of karma and fate. If Momoshiki's presence makes Boruto an unavoidable threat, then removing Boruto from time itself could be Kawaki's way of stopping destiny from unfolding, which that's a whole nother can of worms. But now that we have terms like singularity of fate being thrown around, this makes a lot of sense now. In conclusion, I'll wrap up and I'll say this. So Kawaki sealing Boruto, it is a reflection of his own extreme inner conflict. By sealing Boruto and Daikokuten, Kawaki could be making a painful choice that aligns with his past actions. He protected Naruto by sealing him away instead of letting him die, and most importantly, sealing him away instead of killing Naruto. Like Naruto said, if you want to go kill my son for a second time, you're gonna have to kill me. Can you do that? Kawaki sealed him away. That is part of Daikokuten with mercy. He gave Naruto mercy by not having him have to live in a world where his son was likely going to die. He might also choose to protect Boruto in the same way instead of killing him, and by sealing him, it's also the condemnation part of it. It is very possible that Kawaki believes keeping Boruto in an eternal state of being frozen is the only way to ensure Momoshiki never takes over completely until he can find a way to keep up their original promise, to free each other of being Otsutsuki and having the karma stone, etc., while also having to avoid the pain of having to kill his brother. The religious connection to Daikokuten, it further enforces the idea of preserving something in that timeless space as both a protective measure and punishment and mercy, which is exactly the dilemma that Kawaki faces regarding Boruto. And this would be great in terms of character growth for Kawaki, because we've seen over and over Kawaki is a consequentialist, and yet the one thing that we have rarely seen with Kawaki is Kawaki being capable of mercy. The one person who Kawaki might and should and likely is going to be able to feel some form of mercy for is going to be Boruto, but it largely is going to depend on what happens moving forward with whatever final boss they have, whether that be Jura, whether that be Shibai, whether that be whatever god pops up from the universe. Maybe it's the 2 missing Otsutsuki, maybe it's 10 missing Otsutsuki. Whatever their final end game is, how Boruto acts is going to play a long role and go a long way in allowing Kawaki to see that Boruto is worthy of keeping their original promise to free each other of their fate. I don't see a scenario where either one of them dies. I know a lot of people want Kawaki dead. That's not going to happen. And I do think just as Sasuke eventually changed, I think Kawaki changes as well. I think that we're going to get an inverse, potentially, of what we had with Naruto versus Sasuke. And I think most importantly for Kawaki's character, if we are truly going to be able to look back at his character and see where he began as that abused child, and then the child taken in by Naruto, showing what it's like to have a father by Naruto, showing what it's like to have a brother by Boruto. If we are truly going to be able to look back at him and chart out his growth, I think the best way that you pay that off is Kawaki moving away from wanting to kill Boruto to sealing him away and trying to find a way to have the karma seal removed and Momoshiki removed, even if it means some type of a consequentialist type of route for Kawaki to go down. That would be progress, that would be growth, very similar to the way that Sasuke throughout Naruto's manga, what it meant to restore the Uchiha clan, it continuously started shifting as he got more information. It went from killing Itachi to killing Danzo and the elders to killing Naruto and dismantling the shinobi system itself. I think we see a similar track with Kawaki, but this time focused on Boruto. But obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and checking out more videos from Naruto Explained by clicking over here on the left or clicking over here on the right to check out videos from my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content in the form of video essays, explained videos, lore videos, chapter reviews, and so much more.